All right, guys. I'm here today to finally tell my story. I always forget something when I tell this story, so it's really hard because there's so many layers to this story. Um, there's things that I forget because it's so extensive, it's so confusing. There were a lot of things that happened throughout this past year and a half that it's really hard to tell a story and not forget very important details because there was a lot of traumatic things that I went through this time. So yeah, I mean, I'm honestly kind of embarrassed to tell this story. I didn't have any type of smart judgment. If you're just laying in bed at night and you have nothing better to do and you're like, hey, I'm gonna watch this video, like, you're more than to like do it, if you want. But if you don't want to watch a lot of stupid decisions, yeah, you probably don't want to watch this video because there was a lot of stupidity on my part. So I had to make a PowerPoint slide of all of this to keep my mind on track because like I said, there's just so much to the story and so much hurt. But I'm gonna just get right into it. So I didn't start dating. So this guy and I, Christian Stephenson, we worked together. He was in a different office than I was, but I will be honest, I never really liked him at first. I thought he was like one of those very super obnoxious guys. He was like loud. It seemed like he needed a lot of attention. So yeah, like when I first started working with him, I didn't really like him. But then he started coming up to me, and I actually thought that he was good looking. So I'm like, okay, it seems like he likes me. He might want to possibly date. I'm not sure. So him and I end up going to, actually, the first time that we hung out, I went over to his house. I had a golf game. I went over to his house. When I get into his house, I notice that there's like absolutely no pictures on the wall. Like, no pictures on the wall. The house was super clean. It looked like it was super staged, which I guess I didn't really think much about it. But in my mind, I was like, okay, this guy is unattached. He's very clean. Like, that's a very attractive thing if you're clean. So yeah, he bought me sushi that day, and I sat on the floor. He sat on the couch the entire time that I was over there for that day. And yeah, we just talked about like everything. I talked about golf. He was really sweet. He bought me food, of course. Like, that's like one of my languages. That's not really a real love language, but yeah, I was just happy. So he didn't really talk about his family though, which I thought was kind of like, he didn't talk about like his mom or his brothers or anything like that. So the second day that we hang out, so the second day that we hung out, we went to the golf range together. And I think that he wanted to do that because I was interested in golf and he wanted to impress me. So he was like, hey, Anna, let's go to the golf range together. I bet you could teach me how to play golf. I'm like, yeah, like that sounds fun. So we do that. He brings like this bottle of tequila. I drink it. I drink like half of it. And towards the end of the night, or towards the end of us getting, we were going to go to the bar afterwards. he stops and he's like, Anna, I gotta tell you something, but I'm scared to tell you. And I was like, okay, what do you have to tell me? And he was like, I'm a dad. I have a daughter. And you know how, if anybody knows me, they know that I prefer guys that I prefer guys that are not attached, right? Just a preference. So obviously, like, I was a little shocked because it was something that he didn't bring up within like the first like couple of weeks we were hanging out. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think he saw that expression on my face because I couldn't hide it. I could not hide that expression. So I think in his mind, he was like, oh, she doesn't like this. So we get to the bar. We talk about everything. You know, we're feeling good. We're happy. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. And then he tells me that he also has an adopted daughter. And she was 7 years old. And that his ex-wife, he was talking to me about his ex-wife, Lauren. And, you know, I don't want to bring her into this because, like, she's a really sweet woman. I like that woman. Like, apparently the story goes that she cheated on him. She got pregnant with another dude. And Christian had taken that child on ever since she was an infant. That was the story that he had told me. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that's cool. You know, that's awesome that you did that. But then I was thinking, though, like, could that really be his daughter, though? Or is he, like, just saying? So, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, so technically he has 2 daughters. And if you guys know my history, I've only dated guys with, like, 1 kid. And I feel like that was enough. So I was a little conflicted. But I still decided to pursue the relationship. So I'm going to kind of go through this. You can't really see it that well, but this is a picture early on of when we had started dating. So this was June 24th. He sends me a picture on his Snapchat, and he says, I am falling for you hard, Anna. And this was like in the infancy stages of us talking. And, you know, I thought it was sweet, but it was also like, you know, dang, this guy is kind of moving fast. He was always texting me. He was always just constantly long paragraphs of text messages. I mean, it was a lot for me to handle because I'm not used to all of that attention. So yeah, like, it was just, he pursued me hard, and he definitely made it known how much he liked me. It was a lot for me, but I still kept going because I was like, okay, like, this guy shows me all this attention. He is very good looking. He only has really 1 daughter. So you can't really see this either, and I'm just going to have to put pictures up on the screen later on. But this is a picture of when Christian, it was the day Christian brought me flowers. It was a Friday night. He brings me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. He beats me to my house. And as soon as I get to my house, he jumps out of his truck, gives me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. And I'm just like, oh, cool, thank you. We give each other a kiss, and again, you know, I'm not used to, like, so much affection. I was kind of weirded out. I don't know what it was, but I was just like, okay, Anna, calm down. You know, this guy is just he obviously just cares about you. He obviously is just showing you a lot of affection, maybe a little too early on, but it's okay. So he ends up leaving. He goes over to his buddy's wedding, and he's there the whole night. So that happens. But we did not end up hanging out that night, even though we were supposed to. But he apparently was having way too much fun. So, things start going good. We're having fun. He takes me up to his lake house. This is a picture of us at his lake house for the first time. Takes me to a restaurant. And I noticed that, everybody is staring at me. It was just so weird. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but everybody was staring at me like it almost felt like I was kind of an intruder at the bar. And I'm not being paranoid at all. It was just a really weird feeling. No one really smiled. No one was really. So I was like, okay, I guess I am new around here. His lake house is it's in Michigan. So yeah, nobody knew me, but I thought that was a little weird. This is other pictures of us. And like I said, in these, he looks really good, super cleaned up, super fresh. It's just pictures of us having a good time. And the reason why I put these pictures together, guys, is not because I wanted to reminisce on this. This is not what this is about. This is kind of a documentary of evidence that I have, that I wanted to say yes, this happened. This is how it was. So if anybody wants to ever say in the future that I'm not telling the truth about something, right now I am being totally transparent. I have nothing to hide. I don't want to hide anything. This is all, I'm showing everything. I mean, obviously there's a lot more, but this is what I have, and everything that I am telling actually did happen. So, okay, the work situation. So it was around July shutdown time because, automotive places, they do this shutdown time, usually in the winter and around July. So we were actually working that week, and this guy comes into the office that works with Christian in his office. And he's like, dang, I cannot believe Christian is married. And then my boss behind me goes, yeah, and he's got a kid on the way too. Okay, so, you would have thought that I would have had double red flags, flagging in my face. And you know what I do? I actually stick up for Christian. And I'm like, no, Christian's not married anymore. He was married to Lauren. They were married for 7 years, but, they're divorced now. But they do have 2 daughters together, but he's not married. And nobody had anything to say. And I thought I squashed it. I thought I squashed that situation. And then Christian and I, we go inside of his truck because we were going to go to lunch that day. He starts driving. And I sit in the passenger seat, and I'm just like, hey, I find it really weird that these 2 people that were in my office were saying that you were married and had a kid on the way. Dead ass. Christian was watching the road. He looks over at me with a blank stare, a complete blank stare out the windshield. And he's like, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. He said, maybe I should have been in there when you guys were having this conversation, but I don't know. I guess I don't really know what you guys are talking about. I don't really have anything to say. And I'm like, well, okay, they're saying that you're still married and have a kid on the way. So is this true? Like, that's what I want to know. And he's like, ugh. He's like, I didn't want to tell you about Alexa. He's like, yes, I was married to Alexa after I married Lauren, but Alexa and I got an annulment shortly after we married. He was like, I haven't had sex since October of 2021 when I moved here. We worked opposite shifts, Anna. Like, we weren't really in love. I didn't really love her. She also cheated on me with another guy and got pregnant with another guy. So this whole thing is a total misunderstanding. I'll show you the annulment papers when I get home. He's like, I swear to God, we're annulled. I will do anything to prove to you that we are not married. Like, we are not married. I will show you the evidence. And he was persistent about it. He was really, like, passionate. I could tell how passionate he was about showing this to me. So I say, okay, damn, like, I believe you. Like, calm down. I believe you. So I thought everything was, squashed. Everything was squashed. So life goes on. End of July comes. We're hanging out every weekend. We're always with each other all the time. So, like, as I'm spending time with Christian, I had no reason to believe that he was married because he was with me all the time. So, like, as time went on, things just started getting, like, I started feeling okay. Like, there's no way, like, this guy is married. So I don't know what these guys were talking about. He was with me all the time. He was texting me all the time. We were at the gym. He was spending the night at my house. He was always with me, always talking to me. There was no way this dude had any time to do anything else. Okay? So, end of July comes. This is a picture of him just being nice, He puts a bouquet of flowers in my car door handle. He lays coffee on the windshield. And, I'm taking pictures of these moments because Christian was just spoiling me. He just spoiled me, and I can't say that I didn't love it, because I did. I really did. I never had this type of affection before. Or this amount of attention that someone has given. I've never had that. So, yeah, this is just like a picture of us. We just took pictures by the lake in Toledo. It was just really nice. It was a really good time. And so, July 29th, this was like a little over a month after we started talking, he buys me this $500 necklace, 14 karat gold. So I really don't know how much that equates to, but he said it was $500. So this is pictures of him putting it on me. So if anyone wants to question whether that was his that he gave me, yes. And I thought it was really cute at the time, Things were going great. Showering me with affection and love, something I've never had before. Oh, and also, he became so comfortable with me, and we became so close. Like, he started doing things for me, a lot of things. He would show up at my house before I would even get home. He would do my laundry. He would clean my kitchen. He would sweep the floors. He would mow my grass. Just every chore that you could think of, he did. Like, I thought this dude was untouchable. He was Superman. He was everything that I ever wanted in a man, besides, like, the attachments, like the previous attachments, like the ex-wives and the kids. I didn't really care for that, but everything else was so perfect. So yeah, like he did everything for me, literally everything. And this is like, I just want to tell you, like, I'm just trying to illustrate how much he actually cared about me throughout this whole time. He sends me a snap and it says, "Let me know when you get up. I will get us coffee, and you also seem to have slept well. I was out. I felt so much better. I think being next to you is a huge help. You are amazing and perfect." And I'm just trying to illustrate again, like, how much this man actually loved me. Oh, so the video. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this. I spent enough time with him today. I was literally talking about you the whole fucking day. I think you. Oh,
Let me go get your future stepchild. It's alright, you'll hate her too one day.
What he said in that video was, "I'm going to get your future stepchild." So what does that tell you guys? Well, that told me that, this guy was super serious about me. He really liked me. He thought potentially that I would be her stepmother one day. And I'm actually feeling happy about it because I knew that Christian was serious about me. I knew that he liked me. I knew that he was serious. And like I said, I just had no reason to believe that he was, ever being deceitful or anything like that. Again, August 5th, this is the first time that Christian met my family. So these are just some pictures that we took when he came down to meet my family for the first time. So we were hanging out at Gilhooley's bar, and we were just like walking around town, having a really good time. It was a great time. It really was. I can't complain. Everything was so perfect. It was almost like I was living in a fairy tale with this dude. I'm not kidding. It was scary. It was like almost too good to be true. But I'm like, you know what, Anna, just embrace this. I deserve this. I deserve love finally, after all these years of being shit on by so many people. And when I had the best heart, when I'm with someone, I care about that someone. And I don't do anything to fuck that up. So yeah, okay, this was like August 6th. We were hanging out at the beach. We bought a bunch of beach stuff. Again, he's all cleaned up, looking really good. He said he spends like $200 on his barber to get his hair like in that perfect fade. And also, he was in the military. He had said that he was a master sergeant in the military for 15 years. So it was kind of like, I guess, his hairstyle. This was just like another picture of us hanging out at the bar. And like I said, I am not trying to reminisce on this. I'm just showing pictures to prove that we were together during this time. We were always together. Always. August 20th, the day that he comes down back to my hometown to go to my niece's graduation. So this is a picture of us. And I think he also gave my niece like $100 or something. I can't remember. But that was his effort to try to get into our family, to be a part of our family. And to me, it was showing that he was making the effort to become a part of our family. He wanted to impress everybody. That's just like what you do when you're with someone. And I just ate that shit up. I'm not going to lie. Like August 20th again, we're hanging out at the bar. And the crazy thing is like he's telling the bartenders, he always did this and it made me feel really good. He's like, "Oh, Can you just look at this woman? How much I love this woman. She's so beautiful, isn't she? She's so beautiful. And, you know, I'm feeling good when he's doing this, like when he's telling people that. It almost made me feel like I was the candy of Christian's eye. Like I was the only one that he looked at. He would always say that I was the most beautiful thing in the world, that he just loved me so much. He's like, I'm glad that I have you in my life, Anna. And he would explain that to other people, you know, whether it was family or bartenders or just whoever else. Like, he made me feel so good. So good. So this is a text message that he had sent to my mom because they were starting to get close. So he said, ma'am, we made it home safe. Wanted to say thank you to you and Bill once again for an amazing weekend. You have such a beautiful family, and I really enjoyed meeting more of the people that made Anna so amazing. So I'm just giving you guys context of what I was seeing, what my mother was going through and seeing, and just like how perfect everything was. So Andrew had gone to New York. Oh, and to kind of like back up a little bit. So Christian and I were at the gym. This is like really in the infancy stages of us hanging out. We were at the gym, and Andrew was brought up in a conversation. And Christian, I don't know, he just must have read my facial expressions or something. I was talking about like how Andrew was doing some things around the house and da-da-da-da. And Christian goes, I don't know, by the way you talk about him, Anna, it seemed like you guys almost had some type of relationship. Like, did you guys ever sleep together? And of course, I'm trying to be in a new relationship, and I'm trying to be the best version of myself. So obviously I'm not going to lie. I told Christian, I said, yeah, we did, but it was probably about a couple months ago. It's not a big deal. I'm with you. There's nothing going on between Andrew and I anymore. So this just needs to be squashed. Like, it's not a big deal. Well, Christian's eyes had opened up super wide when I was telling him that. And he was like, oh, damn. He's like, I never met someone so honest. And I appreciate the honesty. He's like, I know I can trust you. He's like, because if you can tell me something like that, I can trust you with anything. So didn't think anything about it, really. So we moved on with our lives. But back to this photo. So yeah, like Andrew went to New York. Christian helped me. He was with me all the time. He literally sanded down these walls. He mudded them, sanded them. He was with me, like, doing all this hard work. Like, he was helping me with every project, and I appreciated it. I really did. And again, these are just pictures of us when we were, like, in our prime, loving each other. And I'm not gonna lie, I've creeped on profiles to try to figure out if he was like with anybody or if there was any like pictures out there to see if he had any type of emotions like that. Because Christian told me that I was like the only one that he really loved. I was his first love. So yeah, I did not find anything on people's profiles that would have made me question that. So yeah, we go bowling. This is just like a video of him and Andrew hanging out. And actually, no, it's not. Okay. I'm going to play this. You can't really see it, but you can tell, like in this video, you can kind of tell we were having just like a really good time, and you could tell the way he was looking at me was just different. I don't even know if you could really see that, but in that video you can see Christian just kind of laying there, and he's just staring at me and smiling at me, just in complete awe. All right, so one random day I decide to stumble across Alexa's profile because I was just curious. It dawned on me to actually find her profile. I kid you not, guys. There was a picture of Alexa and Christian, and there still is to this day. There is a picture of Alexa and Christian in that profile picture together. Their heads are together. And her marital status says married. Married. Lives in Toledo. Married. So, ding, ding, ding. This is like towards the end of August. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring this up to Christian. So, I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't know if this is an old profile of Alexa's or something, or if she just hasn't changed it, but I would really appreciate if Alexa would change this, because if you guys are not married, she shouldn't have this up on her Facebook. And that was probably like a little insecure of me, you know, because I was like, but I also believe that you shouldn't have those things on your profile if it's not true. So he was like, okay, Anna, he's like, we're not married. I don't know why she still has that up. I will take care of it. So it was like about a week later, I look her name up again, and I see that the profile post is, like, her profile is just gone. Like, it's just gone. So I was like, okay, you know, she must have just taken it down, because maybe she just didn't update her status, and maybe she just doesn't want her, she just deleted her Facebook. So I chalked it up to that. And this is just a picture of us hanging out. Like I said, we were always together. We always hung out at Sean's Back Nine Tavern. There was the golf simulators there. We made a lot of friends there. Yeah, we just, like I said, always had a good time. So this is September 3rd. And in one of the text messages to my mother, because he included my mother and I in a group chat. So in one of the messages, he was like, also, Anna is officially a girlfriend. She has finally allowed it. September 3rd, 2022. And my mom was like, well, that makes me very happy. And Christian said, yeah, she even made me Facebook official. Looks like we are headed in the right direction, my heart. I'm just trying to set up the scene, guys, and illustrate this. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But, okay, so moving on to September 4th. So we go up to his lake house again in Michigan, and we take pictures together. We're just soaking in this moment. This was probably like one of the best nights that I've had with him, like throughout our entire relationship. This is one of the best nights that I had. And he makes a fire. He sets everything up. He lays this blanket out on the ground, pillows on the ground. He has another blanket so we could, like snuggle up together. And it was just a really romantic night. We were laying under the stars. I'm not going to play that video because it's too mushy. Anyway, yeah, so like this is a picture of us. There is me with a blanket. Christian took that picture and he sent that to my mom. He said, "Bed by the fire." And my mother obviously liked it. And this is, like I said, I'm just setting up the scene so you guys can like kind of visualize this relationship and what was said. And I'm kind of mixing in text messages and pictures. Christian said, "I think I just want to be around you today. I feel like we have not really just cuddled lately, and we have both been stressed, and it is getting to me. I just want you, and I want everything with you forever." September 8th, yeah. He buys all this meat from House of Meats. He cooks me and Andrew dinner, like I said, just did everything. So the following weekend comes, and if you guys know what the Bellamere Suites in Toledo is, it's like this romantic getaway where couples go, and it's always booked. Like you literally have to call in way ahead of time if you ever want to get a booking at this hotel. It's like a luxury romantic getaway. And this is a place that I've always wanted to go, and Christian knew that. So guess what? He books me a room at this hotel on September 10th. And I'm going to kind of show this video because this is like what it looked like. So I open the door. Heart-shaped roses, you know, you got the nice bed, beautiful mirrors, chocolate-covered strawberries he had them do, sitting on the table. The shower is beautiful. We got 2 robes, a hot tub. Nice sink. Yeah, it was just, like I said, it was like a dream come true. This is the food that he had brought to the room. It was like these meat rolls and cheese rolls. I had chocolate-covered strawberries, like I said. The wine, he had wine there. There was like a food menu. Just, dude. It was just amazing. And the suite also gave us this lock that we could put on. So it was called a love lock. And what you did with that love lock was there was initials engraved on that love lock. So it said CS and AF 9/10/2022. 9/10/2022. And what you're supposed to do with that love lock is put it on the love lock bridge when you go there. So as you can see, like the love lock bridge had all these railings and it had all of these locks on it everywhere. It was almost running out of room. So like Christian and I decided that we wanted to have like our special place for this love lock. And we actually go underneath the bridge. Like we take our time, we go underneath this bridge and we hang our love lock on this nail underneath that bridge. And guys, it is still there today. I swear to God, if you guys ever go to the Bellamere Suites and you go on the right side of that bridge, underneath the bridge, our lock is still hanging there, unless someone took it off, which I highly doubt it, but it is there. So that is just more evidence that this was a thing. And this is like a couple of pictures of us at that suite. We were standing out by the water, kind of cute. He put the roses, like the rose petals, all over the bath, just kind of trying to illustrate like how amazing this was for me. So another text message, this is Christian's. He said, "God, you're telling me it has been pricey with our little getaway, and I am going to give Anna this is to my mom, sorry. So Christian texted this to my mom. He said, "It has been pricey with our little getaway, and I am going to give Anna a promise ring. Don't worry, I am not asking her to marry me yet. I will give that a couple years." Smiley face. I was going to give it to her Saturday, but her finger is so small, I had to resize for the midget. So obviously, at the time, I don't know any of this. I don't know that he's getting me a ring. This is just kind of what he had conversed with my mom. And as you can see, like, my mom has this little meme picture of, like, her going, yay, like, this is so awesome. Because, like, she is, like, in love with Christian. She thinks he's funny, that he's just Superman. And she's like, Anna, I've never seen any guy love you this much. Like, you don't fuck this up. And I still don't know this at the time. Christian said, and I picked all these flowers for her at the store to make her a bouquet. You know, since I have met your daughter, she has always had fresh flowers. And my mom said, you seriously are spoiling her way too much. They are gorgeous. And Christian said, well, I hope she is happy. This is really one of my final pushes right now. I'm starting to get nervous.
You're kind of gay, but it's so obvious. And if you have to get a boyfriend one day, and his name's Carlito, just make sure he's not Mexican, because I'm gonna stay around his parents and like not cool. Because they also ain't Mexican.
Andrew's driving to the bowling alley, and Christian is like talking to him, trying to be funny. Like he's like really trying to be Andrew's friend and for Andrew to like him, because Christian knew how important Andrew was to me. So Christian like was trying to be Andrew's friend, do things for him, cook for him, you know, kind of the same stuff that Christian did for me, but with Andrew. And oh my God, I gotta tell you guys, like, Christian even went to the extent of kissing Andrew on the mouth to I don't know if he was like trying to show me that he was comfortable with his sexuality. I'm not sure what it was, but I guess like he was just trying to be funny. And you know, Andrew's pretty laid back, like he's just like, okay, whatever. But you know, yeah, Christian just does some weird shit. Okay, so moving on. This is before I knew anything, and this is before I suspected anything. Christian had texted my mom, and he goes, what do you think? And he sends a picture of this ring, this Harold jeweler ring. And my mom goes, oh my, the ring is gorgeous. You have amazing taste. FSIL, future son-in-law. And Christian says, well, did not go as planned, I will tell you that. So that text message was after he had given it to me. And so the reason why it didn't go as well, I don't know, we were fighting about something. And he decides to give me the ring after we had a fight. He gave me that ring after we had a fight. And so he ends up throwing the ring out in my front yard somewhere. And it like kind of damages the case. And I'm like, what the fuck? So like when he gave me that ring, it wasn't special. It was not a good time. Like I didn't really... It sucked. Like the whole thing just sucked. I thought it was going to be like a really good moment, but it wasn't. It sucked. So like this is a picture of the ring. This was September 18th that I actually like started reminiscing in this ring, and I put it on and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually like a really nice ring. It's pretty. That was his promise ring to me. He said that he had spent like $2,500 on this ring. Or sorry, $2,200. I did not know if that was true, but I mean, to me, it was still a gorgeous ring. It was very dainty, elegant, not too crazy because I'm not a big jewelry person. So yeah, I really liked it. And this is, again, more text messages to my mom, like between Christian and her. So my mom was saying, like, the ring, ... And Christian said, I know, she is so sweet. I take it she told you about the ring. And my mom says, sort of, in her way that she always tells us something by clues. That's me. And Christian said, ha, 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 she is perfect, literally perfect. I love her with my entire heart. She makes my heart melt with her smiles, and when we talk and she is happy, I want to freeze that time for her. And he also says, I love you guys too, and I really love your daughter. She deserves to be happy. And as I have told her before, I will do anything to help her achieve that. And she is perfect in my eyes, and I am always here for her. It was a hard week, but I do think love is patient, and my love for her is endless. So I will be there no matter what. I want to always experience everything with her, and it won't be perfect. I want it all with her, so I won't quit. You have my word, I can't really read the rest of it. And this is like text messages from Christian to me. He said, I will start all of my mornings loving you. Let me know if you want breakfast, I can go grab you something. And I'm like, thank you, love. And he said, anytime, honey. And Christian says, I am beyond in love with you. You are the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, and I'm just going to kind of point out some things in here. Like, this is, again, text messages between him and I. He said, I love you, Anime Stephenson. Already putting like his last name on my last name. And I said, I love that name, babe. I wanted to wear my ring today, but I'm machining today, so it just kind of sucks that I can't wear it. And he goes like, it is my favorite thing to you, and I am very happy you love it. It is safe at home, and it will always be there with me when you get home later. So end of September comes, September 23rd. Before we leave back to go to my parents' house, he decorates my entire house. And this is when he starts moving stuff into my house. Like, he moved dressers, he moved like some clothes in, he had his lawnmower over at my house. He like moved his stuff into my house. Some things, or like, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot. Like, he didn't move any like crazy furniture or anything, but like, he was with me all the time, and he was at my house, and he took the time to decorate my house for Halloween. He put up like these blow things. It was just like this whole thing that he had did. It's just a picture of me and him at my parents' house. Oh, and this is another one. So September 27th, Christian said, just had to do it this morning. You are so amazing, and you make me so happy. I don't know where I would be without you, and I love everything about you, baby. Don't forget your computer so you can do your quizzes, and drive safe. I love you so much. XOXOXOXO. He's like, also, God, I love you. You make my heart so happy in these meetings. I really don't ever see my love fading for you. I just, every day, fall for you more. Miss Anna Mae, I want so bad for you to be mine forever. And this is just something that he said. So the next day he says, and I am so happy you are happy. You mean so much to me and always will. I can't wait to have our lives together and grow with you through the years. I feel like I have the best thing in the world, and I will always be yours. And you know, like, through this time, I am feeling the pressure of kind of the smothering, kind of the, this is a lot for me to handle because I've always been so independent. Like, if anybody knows me, I've always been, like, so independent. I've taken care of myself. I didn't really need anybody to show me anything, but, like, it was nice at the same time to have this type of affection. And he gave that to me, but it was almost off-putting. Like, the amount of affection and attention was slightly off-putting, but I just couldn't put my finger on why I felt that way. So this is like when he says, so this is the next day, September 29th. He says, or I say, I'm sorry about last night. I do love you. I just get in my moods. And he says, don't be sorry, baby. You are going to, you're going to have your ups and downs. I feel bad today about it a lot. I talked to my therapist about it. I think what hurts me sometimes are just the statements like I should be with someone who can give me attention, or that we argue all the time. I feel when you say things like that, your mind is made, and it makes me feel sad. And I want to be the best person for you, and I don't want to feel like I'm not. It is just that I am moving in. That's scary to me, and I want to move in. I want to be a part of your life. I just don't want you to regret your decision because I want you happy. That's all, Anna. Like I said, guys, like, I'm not going to lie about this. You know, I was feeling that I was partially losing myself. I mean, when someone comes into your life, and I don't know if anyone has ever experienced this before, but when you have someone come into your life and pretty much just like take over your life, doing everything for you, like you're not even lifting a finger, and they're doing all these chores for you. They're coming into your home and they're making everything so perfect. Like, you literally just, to me, that is what drove me every day though. Like, I have to do things for myself. I have to be a big girl. I have to do these things, but I know Christian liked to do it, so I just let it go. But a part of myself, I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt myself getting lost. At this time, I was already feeling like very on shaky ground. Even though like he was giving me all this attention and all this affection, I just still felt like something was off. And this is like when he talks to my mom and he said, question, you are my go-to for these things. This is to my mom. So Anna's going back into a place where she is saying she has to stay true to herself. Pretty much talking pretty much the same things. Last week, she felt all this love, and this week she is different. And I guess what I'm asking is, do you think at this point I may need to take a step back and take a break for a while so she can be alone, ? It is very up and down, and with me starting the move-in process, her feeling like this is extremely scary, and I just want her to be happy. So I'm trying to figure it out. I feel like it always comes down to I am the problem, that she cannot be true to herself because of a relationship, which is with me. And like I said, I've struggled in the past with my relationships. I didn't know how to behave, and I didn't know how to like accept being around somebody all the time. I just never have been. I've never been attached to somebody like this, and I think there was so many conflicting things. I was conflicted with like his previous attachment status and just different things. So this is Christian's messages back to me. Shortly after. He said, yes, we need other friends. Even though he is the coolest, we got to get out at least once a month. I think tomorrow I am going to bring just a few outfits over so I don't have to do the backpack thing. What time are you going to lay down? The game just started. I can come home. I really can if you want me to, baby. I never want to upset you, and honestly, your happiness means the world to me. And I figured we can get married at the beach. I told Jeff, which, let me put this into context. Jeff is his boss, where we worked at. And I'm sorry, guys, like, this is going to be kind of a long, this is kind of, like I said, I could not do this podcast in an hour because there's just so many layers, and I'm still going to miss stuff. This is going to be Titanic long, so like I said, it's very extensive, and I would miss very important points if this was only an hour or two long. So I'm going to get back to like where I left off. So when Christian was texting me, he said, I told Jeff I was marrying you in November. And he was like, I am not surprised it has not already happened. So for context, and like I said before, Jeff is Christian's boss. So Christian reports to Jeff, like I reported to my boss, Mark. So they were managers, okay? So he was giving me the idea that he was talking to Jeff about these things that people knew about Christian and I at work, that like everybody knew. Like he was basically making me believe that he was talking to other people about me. And these are just more pictures of Christian and I hanging out at this winery place over in Wauseon. It was either Delta or Wauseon. I don't really remember. A really good time. This was October 1st. Stupid whiteboard. So this is like a picture of us saying like, you know, I love you. And Christian said, I love you more. And Christian said, every day with you is the best day of my life. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. I will never count any more days. I will make your days count. I love you. For context, October 12th, and this is what he said to me. I'm just, like I said, this is going to be long because I'm just kind of walking through the context of this man, trying to get you an idea of how everything was. And I really mean that. You know there are so many things about you. Literally, I envy the people that get to work next to you, that get to see you all day. I envy how I cannot be like you, how strong you are, and how strong you have made us. Your accomplishments at home and at work, and all the things on the side you do for yourself. So much to be proud of. Literally so damn much to be proud of. You give me butterflies when we kiss still. It feels like high school. When I look at you, I feel it in my chest. The love there is so strong. My heart literally longs for you, and that will never change. You are the best accomplishment in my life. The one thing that I can look back and say, I would not change a damn thing, not one. Miss Anna Mae, I love you, literally unconditionally. I love you. And so this is a picture of like the campground that, you know, because I said that I was interested in owning like a campground one day. And so he was like, oh, that would be so cool. Like, let's go in together, or, you know, let's do this. Right. So supposedly he buys a property in Michigan, like Jackson County, Michigan, because we go up there, we look at it. We're like, oh, sweet. Like, let's do this campground business together. So he supposedly, and like I said, I don't know this for a fact, but so he supposedly gets a military grant from the government that actually paid for him to buy this piece of land for like $37,500. It was like a 10-acre piece of property. And I had spent time doing site plans for this. So sometimes I would spend my weekends like planning this campground with the sites, like everything, just like the electrical lines, like where the fireplaces were going to be, where the decks were going to be, where just everything was going to lay out. That's what I was working on. And I would spend some weekends and he would be over at his house and I would be working on the site plan, even though I still do not know to this day, and I'm going to look it up, whether he owns this campground. So supposedly he buys this, but we never really like go up there and work on it. We never really, like do anything physical with this property. He just said that he bought it and that we're going to have this business together and we're going to work on it. Yeah, again, this is like a picture just kind of show you like he did decorate my house, and he had this blow up doll thing. He had like a little graveyard thing set up. He said, I need to get rid of these decorations because they were Lauren-ized and we just need to get new stuff. He just brought that up. Oh, so messages back to my mom with Christian. So as you can see, he puts like this black ring on, and he told my mom it was time to promise ring it up. So he sends that to my mom. And I obviously knew about it at the time because I had my promise ring. But he was wearing it on his wedding ring finger. I was wearing mine on my middle finger. So this is like what he tells my mom. Man, I am in love, and I don't care who knows it. I just want to say thank you for doing everything you can for me. I really appreciate everything you do. My life has been easier with you, but damn, I just want to be able to wake up happy soon. I just want to get our business started, our campground, our rental, Like, he's telling my mom this. And like, as he's saying, I love that woman, Mom. I love her so much, So my mom believes this. Like, she, obviously believes that this man loves me so much. And so this is like a message of me working on this site plan while he's at home, supposedly, just watching the game with Jeff. But there's something to that, and I'll talk about that. So October 16th comes, and this is a really bad day. So this day, Andrew, Christian, and I, we go over to the neighbor's house, like when we get home from work. So if anybody knows Andrew does not like being a third wheel. So like when we're walking over to the neighbor's house, like I'm kind of closer to Andrew because I want him to make sure that he doesn't feel left out. So I introduce Andrew to the neighbors because like Christian is super extroverted. He can literally talk to anybody, and I felt like I didn't have to introduce him. So I was like sticking by Andrew the whole time, and Christian ended up getting mad at that, but I didn't know at the time. And Christian was like, I'm mad at you, while we were at the neighbors. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what did I do? Are you serious? He's like, yeah, but I'm not talking about it right now. And I'm like, well, don't do this right now because we're at the freaking neighbor's house. So yeah, so Christian starts drinking the liquor. Obviously, he cannot handle alcohol. He starts drinking. He gets mad. He goes back over to my house. Andrew follows him just to make sure he's okay. And me, I'm not going to let that ruin my night. So I'm staying at the neighbor's house. I'm having a good time. It was fun. I was not about to let Christian ruin my night. So at the end of the night, I go back to my house. I shut the door behind me, and I noticed that the door, when I shut it, sounded so different. I was like, it just made a weird sound. And I'm like, okay, something's not right. So I look behind me, and I notice that the door jamb is like shattered, busted. I know Andrew didn't do this. So I turn around, I give Christian this death stare, and I'm like, what did you do? What did you do? The whole night, ooh, it was just bad. It was so bad from there. We were both drinking. We started fighting. Things get really bad. Andrew ends up leaving. He leaves to go to a hotel that night. And I didn't know it at the time, but he left to go to a hotel. And since that day, since October 16th to November 12th, he did not stay one night at my place. Andrew ended up moving out November 12th. I felt so low during that time. I felt alone, and I was lost. Like, I was literally lost without him. It destroyed me for a bit. It did. Like, I needed him in that time, but he didn't want to deal with Christian. Like, Andrew knew that Christian was jealous of him. That the only reason that Christian wanted to get in good with Andrew was to make it seem like to me that, oh, Christian loves Andrew, everything's fine, da-da-da-da. But really, Christian was super, super jealous of Andrew. And Andrew's not stupid. Like, he feels that. He knows that. So he was like, fuck this. I'm staying away from this. I'm obviously the problem. So bam, there it is. The whole night, he busted my mirror. The shelf that he had moved into my house, because I literally was like chasing after him. He was running out the door. I was chasing after him. And he had taken the bookshelf. He had all of his military decorations on there. He takes that bookshelf. He like scoots it across the room. It shatters, busts. He busts the mirror. Basically anything that he could throw as an obstacle to me, because he was just trying to block me from getting to him. And yeah, he busted up everything pretty much in that path. And then he throws. So I'm looking for my phone because I can't find my phone. Don't know where it's at that night. I take my laptop outside because I realize that my phone is no longer in the house. I'm like, where the heck is my phone? Like, where is it? It was here. I looked so stupid for 30 minutes walking outside with my laptop on Find My iPhone, and I finally hear my phone ching, ching, ching. It's chiming. I'm looking in the garage, I'm looking everywhere, and I still cannot find this phone. And I finally walk all the way to the end of my driveway because I'm hearing my phone, but it's like I could not really pinpoint the noise. I walk out to the end of my driveway, and I finally see my phone on the roof. The roof. Christian took my phone, so I couldn't call anybody. Threw it on the roof. I had to get up there and get my phone down. I feel like such an idiot. I'm like, oh my God, I am so done with this dude. I am so done with him. Like, I felt like he was kind of mentally abusive. We were in this bad place, and I was just so done. Oh, that's a lovely bruise, but yeah, it was not a good night. I wanted to be done. The next day he comes over and he moves everything out of the house that he had packed. He cleaned up the stuff. He got all of his stuff out from the garage. He even, Indian gave. He gave me this cooler, and he took that with him. Pretty much, the stuff that he said that he got for me, he took it back. And I'm like, wow, this dude's an Indian giver. So he pretty much moves everything out of the house, and then, a few days go on, and this is before things start getting okay again. He said I think before work, I want to come give you a hug if that's okay. Because this was literally like October 17th, the next day. He said, I think I could just use one tomorrow morning. Try to just start the week right, or at least let you know how much I do love you and I do care about you. I want to move forward and work on things. I pray that years from now, you are my wife. And part of me knows that I can achieve these things. My love for you is true. I do love you. I will lay down and try to get some sleep. I am sleeping with your sweater on my pillow that you left in my truck. Sadly, it is giving me comfort. A little. Sweet dreams, baby. I love you. XO, XO, XO. I am going to bed. Future Mrs. Stephenson, moi. And you know, that type of, when you're thrown that much affection and like, oh, I love you, you know, I didn't mean to hurt you, blah, blah, blah. Like, you actually start believing, and I started believing that, okay, you know, we were drinking, we shouldn't be drinking like that. It was a mistake. He's not like this when he doesn't drink. So, and I also realized that him and I work together. So I'm like, okay, you know, maybe we should try to work this out and see where it goes. Okay, yeah, that's so he tried to prove his love to me, and he wanted to start paying my mortgage. So he gave me his account and routing number. I don't think it was real because like I actually tried to put it in and it was wrong. So it was like his attempt to say, oh, I'll pay for the mortgage, but it never went through. But he made me believe it though, because he paid me like a Venmo payment and whatever. But yeah. So this is a group chat between Christian, my mother, and I. He said, Anna and me have decided to elope. This was October 26th. So this was 10 days after we had that huge fight. And he told my mom, he said, you are invited to the after party. And my mom said, I'm ready for a trip somewhere, LOL. And Christian says, yes, first class for the best future mother-in-law. And Christian said, Anna is going to lock me down. That's her words, not mine. And my mom said, next full moon is November 8th, a little early to be acting all cray-cray. And Christian had obviously been talking to me about, like, around this time, which, again, stupid, like, I was stupid, lost my marbles completely. He had been talking to me about, like, he wanted everything with me, like, he wanted, you know, just to be married, he wanted kids with me, he wanted this life, this perfect life. So, stupid me, I actually, like, you know, as early as this was in the relationship, I shouldn't have been really thinking of those things, because you need to really know someone before you do those things, I think. So Christian had talked to my mom. He sent her a picture of this ring and was like, well, he's like, okay, so I need your opinion. He sent her a picture of this ring. And he said, what about something like this? And it is just a ring. Don't think too far into it. And Christian said, I am going to marry this woman, so prepare for me to be in your life forever. And my mom hearted it, and Christian said, I like that. You hearted that. You know I will take care of your baby. Oh, so I gotta back up here. I debated on whether to tell this one, but Christian was so smothering. This was November 4th, this happened, 2022. He was so smothering. It was a Friday night. I wanted to go home and be with my parents because I felt like I wanted sister time. I wanted to be with my family. This dude could not stand to be away from me. So I had planned to go home. He didn't like that. So he follows me all the way to my house. And I am like going as fast as I can because I was feeling so smothered by him. I wanted to be away. I wanted to get away from him. And this is just evidence of him texting my mother saying, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for coming. I'm sorry for embarrassing myself. I don't know what else to say, but I do apologize sincerely for showing my weakness. Because he came over to my parents' house, and I just wanted space that day. Like, oh my God, I just wanted a day where I was like away from Christian. And he came over. He followed me back to my parents' house. And he was so upset. He came into the garage door and he started crying. And he's like, Anna, I don't know why you can't love me. I'm there for you. I just want you to love me. And I feel like you don't love me. I will do anything for you. I mean, ask my mom. This was a real thing that happened, okay? He was going on, and he was just sobbing, and he was being loud. It was so... I have a witness. My mother and my sister Kate, have both seen this. This dude followed me home, and he just could not stay a day without me. It was scary. I was actually terrified of this man in that split second. Terrified.